everyone, it's Danya here. Welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for all the sweet comments from my jumpstart video. I really appreciate it. And I'm so excited to bring you this video because this is really what I had in mind when I wanted to start up the channel. And I want to introduce to you all a challenge called Craft Roulette. And if you're not familiar with this challenge, it's an improv card making challenge, and it comes on every Friday on YouTube, and it's run by a lovely woman by the name of Mary. Now, I will link everything below. Now, this week's challenge is number 146, and they pick 4 parameters, or a wheel. The wheel spins and picks 4 parameters that must be on the card. So I'm going to bring this challenge here, work it through with you all so you can see how fun it is. Unfortunately, by the time I upload this video, because of all the editing and everything that I have to do, the challenge will probably be closed. But this goes on for every freaking week. And you get prizes, and your card gets showcased. And just a little hint, late in February, the guest designer that's going to be on with Mary is going to be Gina K from Gina K Design. So I'm really excited about that one. And that one's going to be on a Thursday night. But anyway, I will link everything below. Let's get started. And thank you for joining me. Okay, so as I said, this challenge is based on 4 parameters that are picked from the spinning of a wheel. And the 4 parameters are on the card are double tags, 2 greens, this is the color, 2 greens plus 2 other colors, a shelf or shelves, and in the background, which to me means you have to have something in the background. So I'm going to start simply with the double tag because I can handle that one. And the stamp set I'm planning on using for this card is this one by Whimsy Stamps. And let's see what it's called. It's called Suck It Up. So I'm thinking of putting 2 plants on a shelf. And I'm going to put this sentiment on a tag. And for the second tag, I'm going to use a background tag. And I'm going to use a scrap piece of paper that I have. So I'm going to pull the colors for my background from this paper. So it'll be this and then the sentiment on top like that. So I'm going to start with the simple, and then I'm going to go into the next step. Okay, so I went ahead and cut out the first tag, which is going to be in the background of the other tag. And I went ahead and, because I'm going to do some ink blending, I went and matched it with a couple of distressed colors that I have. This is going to be my +2. Remember, there was green, 2 greens, and plus 2 colors. So I'm going to, these are the 2 colors I'm going to use in the background. And that would be, again, picked raspberry. I love this color. You'll see me use this a lot. And squeezed lemonade. So I'm going to put these aside. I'm going to put my tag aside. And I'm going to stamp the sentiment. And let me get this on screen here. I have it all set up in my Misty. There. So I said I Wet My Pants is the one I want to use. Now this is a brand new stamp that I haven't used this. I've owned it forever. And so let me just condition it here a little bit. I'm going to set it here so I know where to cut it. Make sure I have enough room. And once again, I'm going to use Altenew Obsidian Pigment ink. I love this ink for sentiments. It's nice and crisp. And I'm just putting some ink down. And I'm stamping it. Let's see how that worked since it's a new stamp. Oh, beautiful. Okay, so I'll let that, put that aside, let that dry. And then I'll cut it out using the smaller tag. By the way, these tags are from the Stamps of Life. I will link that below. I'm going to set up my Misty now to stamp, and I got ink. I got ink on the paper, so we flip it around. And I'm going to use Memento ink because, do I want to do Memento ink? Yes. Do I want to use Copics? Yeah, we'll use Copics. Okay, I'm going to stamp it with Memento ink, and I'm going to pick a couple of these plants. I think I wanted this one and this one and this one to do. Now I'm gonna have to cut these on my scan and cut because I do know how the dies. So let me go ahead and get that stamped out. Okay, let's see where we are so far. Double tags. I got my double tags done, so we can cross that off the list. I went ahead and cut the card base out, and this is a lemonade cardstock from the Stamps of Life. A pink layering, and this is close to my heart paper that I have. And this is Strathmore mixed media paper, which I'm going to ink blend on. And this is going to layer as so. Now this is going to have a very, very light, small border all the way around in pink. And what I used to do that was Gina K's Master Layouts 1. It just gives you that nice, clean little border all the way around. So I plan on putting my tag down here. All right, so that's done. So we're going to move that aside for now. I already have my images stamped, and I'm going to start to color. And I smudged. I also stamped an extra little flower out. I might use that as some kind of an embellishment, but we will see. If I don't use it, I don't use it. Let me go grab my coloring supplies. Okay, for coloring, I'm going to combine Copic markers and colored pencils with possibly Gamsol. So for the Copic markers I'm using, I have RV11, R32, BG11, G40, Y02. And for the colored pencils, I have apple green, canary yellow, jasmine, process red, parrot green, and pink. And these are Prismacolor pencils. What I'm going to do is just lay down a light color. We'll start with this little guy here. So this will give me like a wash. So I'm using the Copic markers to just give me a wash. And this is where I'm going to get the two shades of green. So this is a blue green, and the other one's going to be more of a grass green. And that's going to be where I'll meet the criteria for the two greens. So I'll fill this all in very quickly here. And that gives me a base to start off with. Actually, I sort of prefer coloring this way. I find that I go quicker than trying to blend a bunch of markers together. So now the whole point of the pencil is just to come in and give the shading where the... Now I'm not going to do this whole thing because it does take time. I'm not going to lie. This takes time, especially for me, because I keep going back and forth. So once I fill in, I'm only going to do a few. I'm going to get I don't know if I have one here that's clean. Let's see, this one will not be too blue. Yeah, this is like really blue. Okay, that's not the right color. Let me get another. Oh, I have one. Okay, I should have done this beforehand. I think this one will work. I could file it down, but I don't want to do that right now. All right, so where I put the pencil in, I just blend right into the light Copic. And that's it. And then if I want more color, I can go in and add more color and go back in and blend those two out. And let's do another one. So put in some color. Go in with the Gamsol, blend the two colors out together, pulling some of it out into the Copic, and you can always go back and add some more until you get the depth that you want or you're looking for. Okay, so that's how I'm going to do the leaves on that one. So I'll color this whole one up here, but sped up. And then the other ones I'll do off screen. Righty, I colored everything up, but I wasn't crazy about the way the pot came out. I felt that there wasn't a whole lot of contrast in the yellows that I picked. So I went and picked out a deeper yellow. This one's Sunburst Yellow from the Prisma. And I think that if I go over this, I can get more of a depth of what I'm looking for. But I'm going very careful. So I'm going to go in and make little circles just around the edge. Now I'm coloring on Nina 80-pound solar white paper. And this is a really smooth paper, which makes it, I mean, colored pencils work on it, but after a while it won't drop any more color because there isn't a whole lot of paper to grab the wax from the pencils. But I'm still able to get a little bit in there. So very carefully I'm going to blend it in. Hopefully I'm still on screen here. Blend it in. Not exactly what I'm looking for, but it's a little bit better. Just a little bit better. And I'm going to do the same thing on the yellows here. Just laying some on the edges here. Now, I didn't fill these little dots in. I'm going to probably use some kind of gel pen or Nuvo drops. I got to see what I have there, but I ain't going to go through trying to avoid those little dots when coloring. Just pull it in a little bit and blend it. Okay, that gives me a little bit more of a contrast. It's a little bit better. So we're just going to go with it. I'm going to go ahead and cut these out, and we will continue with the next part of the challenge. All right, so I have my images cut out. I'm going to put aside. I put a little bit of stickles on the plant, and I'll show you that later as it's drying now. Let's move now for so we did the double tags. We had the two greens, and actually we had all the colors in the plants. But now we're going to do the background. Now, the background. This is a background die by the Stamps of Life. And what I did, because I love these circles, I have this Duralar. It's some kind of a polyester film, and it's a clear film, and it's kind of thick. What I did is I cut out the stencil, just the center part, not the outer border, out of this film, and I'm going to use it as a stencil. So I have it already mounted here on the paper, and very carefully I'm going to make a background using the Squeezed Lemonade and the Picked Raspberry oxide inks. So let's get started. I probably will speed this part up, but let me get started here. Just go real smooth. I'm just going to go very, very smooth. I want a very subtle background. I think this causes my phone to shake. A little bit down here. And the good thing about this film is you can wash it and use it again. So once you cut it out, it's reusable. So now you have yourself a little stencil. Just subtle. Let me introduce some of the yellow. Oh, yellow has to be on a little bit darker. I have to put a little bit more muscle into it. And I overlap the pink. And I'm going to continue doing that. So let me speed this part up. All right, so there's my completed background. When I removed the stencil, I just went and hit around the corners. But because the stencil is cut out for the size of the panel, it's kind of hard since I have to tape it down. I need to find, I think, is it Brutus Monroe? They make a sticky mat, so that way you can get the whole stencil in. But I don't have that, so I had to work around that. So that's the background. I hope that tip helps you out. Now, like I said before, I hit the dots with the stickles, and I also hit the little flower with stickles, and the stickles I used for that is thistle and yellow. Now comes the challenging part, and that is the shelf. I don't have shelves. I don't have a shelf in a stamp. I don't have a shelf on a die, so I had to get a little creative. I went ahead and did it off screen, but I will explain what I did, because this one took some thinking and took some digging through my craft room. I had this die. It's actually a flower box, a grand flower box, and it's from, who is it? From Poppy Stamps. So it's Poppy Stamps, and I don't even know if this is still out. I've had this forever. So that's what the die looks like. So what I did is I cut this out in a brown cardstock, or light brown cardstock. I wanted to give it the look of wood grain. So Honeybee Stamps has these barnwood planks. So I took one of these planks, and it worked out that the plank went over this perfectly. So I cut this out first. Then I went over to give it the texture with the plank. Then I ink blend it with Vintage Photo. Then I took it to the trimmer and cut it out. So I just have the top part, and voila, I have myself a shelf for my plants. So that's as good as it's going to get, folks, because I don't have anything else. So now I just need to figure out how I'm going to arrange the card and finish this project up. Okay, let me go ahead and put it together. Okay, that is the finished card. The glue I used, Barely Art glue, and the embellishments that I put on were from Pink and Maine, some sequins from Pink and Maine. And my tool that I used for pickup is the new Gina K. It's got a prong on one side and the wax on the other, and they have replacement waxes for when you need them. So yeah, I think I've met all the criteria for the challenge. Double tags, 2 greens, a shelf, and in the background. Thank you all. I will leave all the links in the bottom. Hopefully you'll join this challenge. I'll try to bring some more as they come up. They come up every week. But if I have time, I will try to upload one every week. Have a great day and take care.